Alexa, Operations Manager here at the BPM RIA office. Stands for Broward Palm Beach, Miami Real Estate Investors Association. We're the only local chapter here in South Florida, partnered with the National Real Estate Investors Association. So welcome everybody who's here, and very, very special welcome to everyone that's their first meeting tonight. Welcome. We're happy to have you. Tonight, we're going to be getting into recession-proof real estate investing. We have our incredible speaker on here tonight, Gualter Amarelo. He's a real estate mentor. And I just have some quick announcements for you guys. So everyone who's attending tonight is going to get something special. You're going to get this bonus from Gualter. So look out for a thank you email that I will be sending all of you tonight. Right after this webinar, you'll get a thank you email from me, giving you access to his 30-day recession-proof challenge. So look out for that, guys. And I'm sure Gualter's going to give you all the details in a bit. So look out for that. But some upcoming events I have for you guys. Oh goodness, guys. I have so many upcoming events. I am going to go ahead and throw the link to get our upcoming events in the chat for you all. You will see that I am putting a lot of helpful links in that chat box for you guys. We just have so much going on. I want to highlight the Saturday workshop that we are going to have. Gualter is graciously coming back for a 3-hour workshop on Saturday starting at noon. So you'll get some more details about that. You can also check it out through the link that I just threw in the chat for you guys. But as you can see, this is just a taste of what we have going on this month. Lot going on. So either get on our email list, send me an email, check out the link, do all the stuff, because we have a lot going on and you're not going to want to miss out on any of it. So much networking. As you can see, we're networking over in West Palm Beach, October 27th. And then right around the corner, we're going to be meeting in person in Davie. So look out for all these events, especially this workshop. You are not going to want to miss out on that. All right, best way to keep up with the events, if you ask me, is text alerts. If you want to opt into the text alerts to get updates of when we're having an event like you did earlier this morning about our meeting tonight, go ahead and text the word BPM REIA, no spaces, all one word, to our event line, 954-800-6961. Don't call me on this number. No one's going to pick up. This is just for our events, raffles, things like that. So go ahead and opt in if you'd like text updates on our events. Since so many people are asking me, I literally get calls every single day about when the next quick start dates are coming out. We did release the new quick start dates, February 4th and 5th. I'll go ahead and throw the link in the chat for you guys, so you can check out the 4 amazing speakers that we have come in. These are just a quick overview of the topics that we get into. Thank you guys so much for responding to this poll. I will reach out to all of you and get you more information. Wow, so many of you responding to the poll. Thank you so much. But as you can see, we have member pricing and non-member pricing for this training. So go ahead and check out the link in the chat box for more details on the quick start and who will be presenting. We have some great people. It's completely led by Anish. So yes, go ahead and check that out. Thank you guys for responding to the poll.
Alexa, you said we have great people despite Anish. I gotcha.
No, it's led by Anish. The whole training is led by Anish. Oh gosh, guys, you know we love Anish. He's the reason why we're all in this meeting today. So gosh, and as you guys know, our members get a bunch of discounts, special reservations, everything. You get free into the networking meetings that we have. Your guests come in half off, and last but not least, the incredible membership benefit package that we get through being in compliance and partnered through the National RIA. So as you can see, this poll that popped up, thank you guys so much for responding to this. You get huge discounts to Home Depot, Avis Budget, a ton of vendors. So thank you guys. I will respond to everyone who answers this poll and get you more information. So stay tuned for that. And I'll go ahead and pop the link in the chat for you guys so you can check it out.
Or instead of reaching out to Alexa, go to our webpage and click on the link. Don't be lazy. I know Alexa's easy to talk to and all that other good stuff. Don't be lazy.
Oh, it's true. The link's in the chat for you guys. As you know, you can go ahead and get your membership right now, and you'll get access to our member portal member flow, which brings me to our mentoring and coaching program. All of our mentor students get absolutely everything we can possibly give them. They get membership to the association, quick start tickets, a one-on-one coach, everything, all the above. It is truly a unique program. You do get coached one-on-one. You're actually able to go ahead and book a discovery call on our website right now. If you want a brochure in your hands, if you'd like more information on what's included in this program, I just put my email in the chat and the website link in the chat for you guys. So you can just go ahead and book your discovery call right now at a time that works for both of us, so that I can get more information in your hands and help schedule a free 1-hour consultation with a mentor. So you can get all your questions answered on if this program is a good fit for you or not. And thank you guys again for responding to this poll. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And last but not least, we always want to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors, thank all of our vendor partners that are, some of them are even here in this webinar right now with you guys, which is just so awesome. Truly leading by example and showing us that they are very much so invested in our success, which is so amazing. Always want to thank the National RIA and our speaker tonight. Of course, Anish. How could I forget? Anish, thank you for having us all on this meeting tonight, and especially Gualter and Darina, who are just, I'm so excited. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm really excited for them to come on. Anish, do you have any last words?
Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, I'm happy to have Gualter, and unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go see him at National RIA at mid-year. He was the super buzz, so we had to get him, to come here. Plus, he's bald, so us bald people stick together. That's our own little group in there. We both love real estate, and he's really doing some awesome things. The other cool thing I do like is he knows South Florida. You guys like sleeping in, so that's why we actually tried something different. We're doing a Saturday at noon instead of 9 a.m. because some of you guys complain. I want to go have, so what I'm going to tell you, go to brunch first, go early, come back, have a couple of mimosas, and then get on board at noon, and we'll see you there. And so I'm always excited on that portion. And, as I said, like all the RIAs want to grab Gualter, and Alexa, whatever you did, way to sneak him in. Good job on that end of it. So we're super excited for him to really kind of crush it today. And today, again, is just a little taste, and you do not want to miss Saturday for a fact. So that's all I had to say before I turn over the show to Gualter.
Thank you, Gualter.
Awesome. So normally I have everybody's camera on. So I'm just going to say, let's give everybody, let's give Anish and Alexa a round of applause, like in your head, just a mental round of applause because of everything that they're doing to bring knowledge and opportunity to everybody here. So by show of, actually just drop it in the chat. What is your career? Like, are you a real estate investor? Are you a wholesaler? Are you a landlord? Do you do single families, multifamilies? Are you flipping, rehabbing? Again, if you're a title agent, like what is your role in real estate? And if you don't have one yet, what would you like to do in real estate? What was the reason you got into it? So I see Yavar's a architect, Cindy's a syndication expert. What is your career? Excellent. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate you. Agent Wilkins is an agent and Kevin is a title agent. So drop it in the chat. What is it that either you want to do in real estate? Because you got to think about what you want in order to attract it to yourself. Or what is it that you actually currently do? What are you really good at? Drop that in the chat. I see Derek's the landlord. We got realtor and investor. So investor-friendly realtor, I assume, Gabriel. And you got realtor landlord, Kevin. Awesome. Corinna is a real estate assistant and very interested in real estate investing and wholesaling. Excellent. You're in the right room. Marvin, credit analyst and multifamily. Multifamily, my man. I wrote the book Names on Deeds. It's small multifamily for real estate investors. And Alexa's got the book. No way. Come on now. You're awesome. Excellent. I want to invest in rental property. Nothing yet. Awesome. Don't worry, Danielle. That's why you're here tonight. We're going to talk about how to weather this recession tonight. And then next Saturday at 12 p.m., we're going to talk about how to buy real estate to cash flow and get rich. And the secret to do that is putting your names on deeds. I'm going to show you how to do that. I would like to dive into real estate investing. Awesome. Wholesaling and rentals. Realtor looking for wholesaling and renting. Closing agent and landlord. Soon to be investor and wholesaler. Trying to wholesale and buy and keep multifamily rentals. Awesome. So normally, again, I would say round of applause. So I'm going to ask everybody who's on the call right now to cheer for yourself. If you're quiet alone in your house, just give yourself a little golf clap, a little cheer. It may feel weird, but hey, you know what? The people who become successful do some weird things. We do stuff that everybody else is afraid of, like buy real estate. We show up to virtual events like this. We educate ourselves. We read books. We ask mentors for leveling up questions, like how to get us to the next level, which, by the way, it is so impressive that this group has a mentorship in-house. I've traveled all across the country. I've got over 150 people on my podcast who I've interviewed, millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires included in that list. And they always say the same thing. I always ask at the end of my podcast, what are the 3 things that make you successful? If you go back 20 years in time, go back to your 20-year-old self and say, these 3 things, what 3 pieces of advice would be valuable to you? Drop on the camera, yes, if you'd like to know what those 3 pieces of advice are. If you have, drop in the chat. I'm sorry, drop in the chat. Yes, if you're interested in knowing what those 3 pieces of advice are that I've gotten from billionaires and over 150 millionaires. Smiley face works too. I will accept smiley faces. All right, we got some yeses. I don't know. I'm feeling it. Of course, Todd. I love the energy. Awesome. Okay. This is the 3 pieces of advice that I've gotten from the richest people that I've had the blessing to be in communication with. Many of them are syndication, multifamily investors. Many of them, in fact, one of my mentors he teaches 7-figure flipping. His name's Bill Allen, and he does over 200 flips a year. So it's not just wholesaling. It's not just rentals. It's not just flipping. It's kind of a holistic approach where these people have built their wealth. The 3 steps, the 3 things that are necessary. First is you have to have the right mindset. You have to have the right knowledge, right? The things in your head have to be right to take right decisions. But unfortunately, like you've discovered, some of you have read a lot of books, some of you have been on a lot of webinars, some of you have been involved in real estate for a long time and not done anything. A lot of knowledge creates analysis paralysis. So too much knowledge can also create no action being taken. Just like, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I should do this. So the next step beyond knowledge, because knowledge, they say knowledge is power. That's what broke people say. Rich people say it's all about your network. So number 2 is your network, the people you know. And again, you've probably heard it's all in who you know that makes you rich, right? They're rich because of who they know. That's not true, because I know of Elon Musk, but Elon's not calling me to do a deal. It's not who you know, it's who knows you and what you're known for. And we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And then the third thing is they all had a mentor. Every single one of them. Sometimes they put it as number 1, sometimes they put it as number 2, sometimes they put it as number 3. But regardless, every single time I've ever asked this question, what are the 3 things? One of the answers is always a mentor. They found somebody who knew the way, not a coach, right? Because there's a difference between a coach and a mentor. A coach is somebody who stands on the sidelines of the football game and says, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. A mentor is somebody who's in the game, in the business, doing the actions, and you're asking them, how do I get to where you are? Whereas a coach doesn't necessarily have to have that kind of experience. They're no longer in the game anymore. So the mentorship that they mentioned tonight, Alexa was talking about tonight, if you're on the fence on whether that's a good idea, I'm telling you that all of the richest people that I've had conversations with have always said that the mentor they worked with was the reason they got to the next level, myself included. I've leveled up my mentors over the years. Anytime I get to a new thing that I want to do, new mentor. Drop in the chat, was that valuable? Are we getting off to the right start? By the way, I'm going to be talking about this real estate market. I'm going through my 2020 to 2030 real estate prediction. If you're interested in knowing what the future looks like, what the next 10 years look like, and even more importantly, what this current recession, how we can as investors become recession proof, drop yes in the chat. And if I don't see enough yeses, I guess we're all just going to high five each other and log off. So let's get those yeses going. Boom. Man, you guys are on fire. I love that you're paying attention. Excellent. Keep it going. Keep it going. Where's the money at? All right. If you're that one person who hasn't typed yes yet, you might be the reason we're not sharing the screen right now. I love it. Awesome. Good teamwork. Thank you guys. Now, jumping into this, I don't take this prediction lighthearted. This is a very serious conversation that we're going to be having. This is some stuff that I'm going to go into things that are a little bit sensitive for people. Some death is involved. Obviously, we had a pandemic. There's a lot of stuff that comes into play with what's happening right now in this market. And I want to make sure that going forward, you know that I'm actually a really nice person. Like, I swear, I'm actually a really nice, decent human being. Like I said, I wrote the book, Broke to a Quarter Million. It was my first step in real estate, was just trying to get financially free. I was financially free by 30 years old. I was a millionaire by 32 and a multimillionaire by 34. Now at 36, I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires. You may have seen the 100 on my shirt. That's what it stands for. It's 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. So how that works is, all I'm asking is, if I show you something, I teach you how to become a millionaire, just be a decent human being and pay it forward. Drop yes in the chat if you would teach somebody how to become a millionaire once you get yours, if you'd be willing to help others get theirs. Looks like 4 of you. Okay, all right, keep it going, because here's the deal. If you're not willing to pay it forward, I'm not interested in having this conversation. I'd rather only give this to good people who do things morally, ethically, legally, and want to pay it forward to other people. Excellent. Awesome. Very cool. I love the feedback. Let's dive in. Also, I have to say this stuff just so people don't think like I'm just another like beautiful bald guy on the camera. I built a portfolio of $10 million worth of real estate. I also have a tech company that's worth $14 million. So I understand cash flow from 2 different avenues. I own over 7 businesses. It's 8 businesses now, with 7 different streams of income, 7 different types of income. So I understand how the money game works. So when I look at becoming recession-proof, I'm looking at it from a lot of different angles, with real estate being the main focus tonight. Drop yes if you're okay that real estate is the answer to becoming recession-proof. And we're going to dive. Awesome. Awesome. A few of you are cool with it. Anybody who's not cool with real estate, I mean, again, jump off the call. If you're not down with real estate, you don't belong here. All right. So number 1, this is a prediction over 10 years. This comes from technical data, and it comes from very little guessing. It comes from statistics that have been pulled from other people. I'm not the person who created this. All I did is document it, put it in one place. So first, you're going to notice I don't actually put a lot of technical information on my slides. What I do is I talk about the things that are important. You're going to see interest rates on the screen. Type in the chat, are interest rates higher than they were before? If that is a yes, type yes in the chat. If they are almost double what they were 2 years ago, then you can just drop yes in the chat. So if you're dropping yes right now, then I'll just, while I'm waiting for all the yeses, explain that when interest rates go up, it creates a little bit of pressure on an economy, puts a little pressure on the ability to borrow money, the ability for companies to expand and take ground because leverage isn't as affordable. And so as interest rates go up, economies tend to contract a little bit. We've seen that in the stock market. Every time they bump up the rates, the stock market comes down. Same with the crypto market. If you are a hodler, if you be hodling, type hodl in the chat. And if you don't hold cryptocurrency, you can just type no in the chat. But if you do hold some crypto, drop HODL in the chat. You know what it means. Hodler, Yvonne, I see you, girl. Awesome. Drop it in the chat. Let us know. Are you into crypto or are you not into crypto? We got some hodlers and we got some no's. We got some yeses. Hodl, hodl, hodl. So what does hodl stand for? Well, there's 2 different meanings for it. One is hold on to dear life, which right now, that's what it feels like. I'm one of the 21 million, right? We hold our Bitcoins. But that's not how I got rich. It's not how I got passive income. And I don't think that it's how you're going to get rich either, because it doesn't necessarily pay cash flow. Now, I know there's a whole bunch of different ways to invest in cryptocurrencies that do pay cash flow, because I am also invested in them. But my real estate does a much better job for me, especially right now. Interest rates rising means real estate prices are slowing down. They are not stopping yet. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the future. So the economy, next up is the economy. Have we noticed the economy is slowing down just a little bit? Well, you can kind of see it in the S&P, but we don't see employment reducing. We see actually employment kind of at one of the best, most healthy places it has been in the entire economy. So drop yes if you recognize that we're definitely technically in a recession, because we have the economy is down. but we also have employment. So we're in a weird time. So drop yes in the chat if you recognize it's a little weird. Super high interest rates, super high inflation, but a booming economy that like the economy is kind of just going sideways, bear market. So very interesting. Government policies. Here are some factors that cause recessions. When the government drops a ton of money into the marketplace, then shortly after, hyperinflation is created. What happened back in, by the way, I'm going to talk a little bit about the 1940s because the 1940s have a lot of relevance to what's happening right now. A lot of people have said, oh, well, it's a lot like the 1980s. No, there's just one thing that's like the 1980s, and that's interest rates. Everything else about what we're seeing is more closely attuned to the 1940s. So you're going to see later on as I go through this, we're going to talk about how you can prepare yourself to operate in this market with things the way they're going. And yeah, just now labor's going down just now, but it's going to continue because of the technology. I'll talk about technology in a little bit, but government policies like the 1031 exchange always being on the chopping block, different opportunities where the government's saying like, you can't operate here, the tax advantages of the cost segregation being removed, the expedited cost segregation. Like there's things that the government has that they can enact that instantly make a change in real estate investing. And there are things that are occurring right now that we have to pay attention to. Technology. Elon Musk literally just had a robot walk on stage 7 days ago now. The robot walked out on stage, it picked up a box, it picked up a water can and poured, and it's just the beginning. Elon 6 months ago said he's going to create a robot, and then 6 months later, robot exists. Type yes in the chat if you recognize if Elon says he's doing it. At this point, he gets it done. And if he says he's going after robots, that means it's probably going to be better than everybody else. So hold on, Honda and MIT. It looks like Elon's about to go to the moon all over your robots. So technology is changing. There's 5 types of technology changing. The only time we've ever seen this kind of explosive growth in technology was back in the 1940s. Interesting. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now we have 5 different types of technologies that are taking space and changing things. You got AI, robotics, genomics, battery storage, and cryptocurrency. This is completely changing the game of how real estate investing works, how the economy works, how business works. And so it's shifting a lot of those jobs. So a lot of jobs are being automated, no longer in need because of the way technology is moving. Institutional investors. Man, I love institutional investors, right? Anytime they're in a market, I leave the market, right? Because institutional investors have a ton of money and they don't pay interest. They're borrowing other people's money. Drop yes in the chat if you would love to be an institutional investor. You'd love that situation. People just hand you money and you go and you buy whatever you want. You buy A-class properties on the water, and you're putting rents up to $5,000 a month, just rocking and rolling because, you know, you're BlackRock. Why not? And that's a situation. When the institutional investors are buying something, it's time for us to exit that marketplace. It's time for us to shift out. What I did is I did some research, and it looks like institutional buyers have picked up, wait for it, 25% of all single-family purchases this year. 2022, 6 million houses sold in the United States, 1.5 million were purchased by institutional investors. This is something, oh, sorry, not institutional investors, investors in general, but institutional investors made up 60% of those purchases. Drop yes in the chat if you, again, want to be one of those, but you recognize that if the institutional investors are moving, it might be time to shift. All right, labor shortage, coming soon. We're not here yet. And the reason I leave this block open like this is a presentation I've run for 2 years now. All I have to do is update my mind, and I'm able to give an update that's a little bit closer, kind of like a crystal ball. Who here knows there is no crystal ball in real estate? Drop yes in the chat if you recognize I can't predict the future, but I can create a very strong forecast on what's happened in the past. And that's what I'm aiming to do for you tonight. Labor shortage coming soon. Migratory patterns. Dude, we are in Florida, right? You guys are on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. I'm over here in Tampa. I can't tell you how many Tampa natives I find. It's like almost never. Like I never see somebody who's actually from Florida. Everybody's like, you know where I'm from? New York, New Jersey, right? I'm from Boston. I'm from Michigan. Who here, drop in the chat, where are you from? Like drop in the chat where you grew up, hung out, like drop in the chat, where you from? We got 3 Florida natives so far. All right, 4 Florida natives, 5. Excellent, excellent. Well, Bulgaria, what up? Awesome. Houston, Virginia, Miami in the house. LA, I love it. Yes, my people in LA. Oh my God, the sun rises on the right side of the water, doesn't it? Isn't it beautiful? You know what, LA? I see the same thing here in Tampa. It rises on the right side. Just ends over there. Just finish it up. Finish it up. So the idea of migratory patterns is, where are people going? Where are they going? Where are they coming from? And one of the charts that I look at very closely is, like, as people are moving and shifting, I want to know, like, the amounts that they're moving towards. Right now, we're seeing a lot of movement into Florida. You've seen it. Like, this is obvious. Just by the chat, I think 50% of the people in here, 50% of you are like me. You're transplants. I came from Boston, and now I live in Tampa. You know why? COVID. Who here moved because of COVID? Drop yes in the chat if you moved because of COVID. Like, if you're like a new transplant to Florida. Anybody? So if you aren't, let me explain why I moved. It's because they were making me wear masks in the evil state of Massachusetts. They were just like, you got to wear masks if you want to go to the bathroom. Anywhere you go, mask, mask, mask. I came down to Florida, and it was like instantly DeSantis had cured COVID. It was just not here anymore. So everybody who is from Florida, you were born into the greatest state in this country. For everybody who grew up somewhere else, congratulations, you finally made it to the promised land. We are right where we belong, and it's where everybody else is coming. So being aware of where migratory patterns are going, you want to be there before they get there. If they're already moving in the direction, get there, and when they show up, charge them rent. So here are 10 of the fastest growing states in the country. It's important to know who is growing fastest. Get there before everybody else. Yes, I totally encourage investing out of state. I don't care where you're investing, as long as you pick one location, stay there for like 5 years. It's people who flip-flop that end up not successful in real estate. If you switch market, you're not going to be successful unless, and I will only say this for my syndication friends, if you are going big enough and you're doing big enough deals and you're only doing 1 or 2 deals a year, it doesn't really matter. You can flip-flop markets because you're only going to do 1 or 2 deals a year, and that's going to totally crush the game for you anyway. So these markets, Utah, Idaho, Texas, North Dakota, Nevada, and honestly, I have no idea why North Dakota anybody's going there. It's cold as hell. They get like 1,000 feet of snow, but these are the stats. Colorado, Florida, Washington, Arizona, South Carolina. The whole right side I totally get. Top outbound locations. And you can see it, by the way. You can literally see it in the chat. There's people from New Jersey, New York, Illinois, Connecticut, and California. Pay attention. These migratory patterns are creating signs and opportunities. People leave where it doesn't make sense to live. People go to where it does make sense to live. Top inbound locations, 70% of, like, these percentages are increase. These are general increase of that particular location. So it's not that most of the people are going there. It's just that these populations have increased by 70%, 64%. In Oregon is 63%, South Dakota 62%, and Arizona 62%. So these states are just seeing monstrous growth compared to what they've seen in the past. Demographics. Here's where it gets a little morbid. So anybody here have a family member who is old? And by old, okay, if anybody on this call is old, I want to be careful with saying that. So how about this? Anybody who knows somebody who is in the baby boom generation, that means they're like 55 to 77 years old right now, then I apologize. This next part it's a little frustrating, because most of the real estate is not held by us young folk, right? I'm 36 years old. We're not the group that holds most of the real estate. In fact, you can see we hold under 38%. It's the old folks that like crush this real estate game. Look at this. From 55 to 65, they're holding the majority of the real estate. They've got almost all of it over here on this side. Then you get a little bit further out and you got your Gen X is taking some ground. And then you've got, actually, let me go back here. And then you've got the millennials and the kind of in between Gen X millennial group, which is holding some. But 79% of 65-year-old people hold real estate. 75% of 55 to 65-year-old people are holding real estate. These are important figures. Most of the inventory is held in an older population's hands. And if you think like older people, they're thinking retirement, they're thinking loss of money, income's reducing, they're thinking about downsizing, but they're also thinking about dying. And so as they get closer to the end of their life cycle, they're thinking, I don't want to run out of money. And I know if I sell this house that's super appreciated, I won't be able to live anywhere else. This thing's already paid off. So they're going to keep holding that inventory. And some of them are thinking, I'm going to pass this to my kids. Drop yes in the chat if you know a family member or a friend who their whole purpose in that house is to be able to pass it along to their kids. Drop yes in the chat if that's true for you or somebody you know. It's important to understand the market we serve. Drop yes in the chat if you know somebody, a family member or a friend who is planning on passing their house to their kids. That means probate, by the way. That means the process of probate. So this slide here is just saying that the baby boom generation, when they were born, their average age, this is 2 years old now, so their average age is actually closer to 59 and 77, which is interesting. Gen X, they're closer to the 43 and 43 and 58. And these millennials are kind of like my age, they're 27 to 42. It's important to understand that. But going to this next one, this is where it gets a little rough. So in advance, I want to say for everybody who dropped yes in the chat, I apologize for this next slide. They are going to die. Baby boom generation, this is inevitable. You knew from when you started on this planet that at some point you would expire. Every one of us is blessed with a certain amount of years. And in America, we don't live as long as they do in Asia. We die about 10 years earlier than they do in Asian countries. So our average lifespan's around 79 years old, 77, 79 years old. Males tend to die a little bit earlier. At this point, I like to remind everybody on here who speaks to motivated sellers, people in desperate situations, that you're most likely going to be talking to a woman who has lost her husband. This is very important that you be extremely empathic, listening and understanding, and not just about the money, because this poor woman has lost literally her soulmate, like her life partner, and she's going to need you to be able to empathize a little bit and make sure the deal works for her, because she really does have nobody else, especially if she's talking to an investor and a motivated seller. For realtors who are working with off-market properties and listings, you know what I'm talking about. It's typically going to be an older woman who doesn't have any kind of opportunity. Otherwise, it ends up going into probate. And if it hits probate, sayonara. It's going to be a year or two before that property finally comes out, unless you got a great title attorney who's rocking and roll on the probate side of things. So we've got some knowledge about this. The reason I share this is because the baby boom generation from our calculations are about 72 years old at the peak, the oldest ones. The younger ones are closer to 58. As over the next 15 years, they are going to continuously die, which means they're going to leave a trail of property either to their kids, who are going to immediately sell the house. The kids aren't going to want the house. They already got their own house, because remember, they're Gen X, and Gen X has already kind of taken care of themselves. They're holding the other large inventory of property. And the millennials, are they going to want grandma's house, or are they probably leaving out of their city they grew up in to move to Florida or Arizona or Texas? So they're not keeping that house back home either. So what we're going to see is a potential depression in real estate in the northern areas. You're going to see it in California, you're going to see it in New England, you're going to see it for sure in the Midwest, areas that the people are just not moving into. You're going to notice that those are where the big opportunities start arising. And it is about serving with abundance. Yes, let's give Cindy a chat in your head, a round of applause in your head. Just type hell yeah in the chat. And Cindy, this is all for you. All the hell yeahs you see in the chat, this is 100% for you, because it is about serving from a place of abundance. And for everybody who's not typing hell yeah, there's a place in hell for people who don't celebrate people. All right, there you go. Love you guys. Thank you. All right, next slide. This is where it gets really interesting. The market cycle looks like this. You've seen this before, whether you're in business, sales, an entrepreneur, you've studied stocks, you've studied just psychology of human beings. This is what the market cycle looks like. It starts like this: optimism. It might turn out okay if I invest in real estate, if I buy a house. And then you get into excitement, like, what? You can't lose. Everything I buy makes money. And then it gets into euphoria where it's like, oh, give me a cigarette. That was great. I love real estate. And then after that comes denial as the market slows down, prices are coming down also, and things aren't selling. There's this, it'll come back. It'll turn around. This can't, I mean, real estate goes up forever. Remember? Forever to the moon. And then there's fear. This is where they start saying, maybe I should sell the house, maybe like lower the price a little bit. Maybe it should become a little more negotiable. And then we hit panic. Panic is a great place to buy real estate because in a space of panic, people start saying, screw it. Yeah, whatever you want. I'll just take the house, give me the money. All I want is money right now. Drop in the chat if you'd like to work with investors who are panicking. If they bought the properties wrong, they're over leveraged, and now they have to sell to you at a discount, maybe even offer you the mortgage subject to existing financing or sell financing just to get out because they can't handle the property that they took on. The high motivation, yes. So that would be here in the depression area. It really, like, panic is nice. You get some good deals. Fear is okay. But when a person's soul hits depression, they no longer care about anything. They don't even care about money anymore. And they just want that terrible property that's caused them all the pain in their lives out of their lives, even if it destroys their credit. Type yes in the chat if you know that we're going to be seeing some foreclosures come to the market in the next couple of years. And we're going to see some short sales coming to the market in the next couple of years. And also type double yes if you plan on being there ready to serve these people to help them eliminate that problem from their lives. That's a double yes if you're going to solve some problems. Oh, hell yeah. Look at this with abundance, obviously with a smile on our faces, helping out. I like that. Yes to the two. Very well. All right, so I think we're right here in excitement, or at least that's what I thought we were. Then I pulled some charts, and I do think that we may not be quite in excitement. I think we're on the edge of excitement and euphoria, but I'll show you that in a little bit later. Before we go any deeper, I want you to understand this doesn't happen overnight, right? This whole cycle thing doesn't happen like the stock market did, where the government announces COVID and suddenly the stocks go straight down. Yeah. This euphoria thing can last not for like a month, but for a year or 2 years or 3 years. A market in real estate can do this for a long time before it finally gets to the top and then comes back on the other side. And it can drop. Remember, 2008 was not the bottom for us. 2008 was the start of the bottom for us. It was the bottom for the stock market. But for the real estate investors, we didn't hit the bottom until 2010, 2012. We dropped for a long time. Now, I don't know about everybody on this call, but I know about me. I bought my first house in 2008. So it's a very personal experience to me. I bought a house that was for sale for $240. I bought it for $170 at a short sale. I thought I won. I thought I beat the game. I'm like, man, this real estate thing ain't shit. I got this. And then the house value went down to $140. And in 2010, I said, I messed up. This doesn't work. And I started looking around at every house in my neighborhood. Every house was going for $140. Every single house in this beautiful neighborhood I moved into was going for $140. And I thought, man, I got to buy some stuff. I got to buy all this real estate. I should rent this out. I could get so much cash flow. I could just flip this house, rent it out, $140. I could be, pimping it out and put the rent for $1,400. I'd be making a lot of cash flow, but the banks wouldn't give me any money. Type yes if you've ever been in that situation where you saw opportunity, but you didn't have the money to invest in those deals. Type yes in the chat if that's true. If you've experienced this, the pain, the anguish of 2008, 2010, 12, even 13 and 14 for some of us. Absolutely. So I made a commitment in 2012, 2010. I said, I will never, ever, 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 ever be in a situation where there are deals around me where I won't be able to make an opportunity happen. I'm just never going to do that again. And so I started learning about real estate investing. I started diving in. Obviously, I bought a whole bunch of real estate, and I own over just under 50 units now, 48 units. We're net sellers. I sold a couple condos recently. And it's because of a desperation to never be in that pain again, to never get lost again. So drop it in the chat. If you commit to learn the process, drop the number 18 in the chat. If you want to learn the process to make sure you got money when this thing happens, drop 18 in the chat. And what that stands for is the 18-year real estate cycle. I know you've heard it's 7 years, it's 9 years, it's 14 years, all wrong. Multifamily real estate runs in an 18-year cycle. It always has, it always will, because real estate is based on generations. If you're not looking at generations, you're missing out on the huge opportunities that are coming to us because the generations are passing on inventory at certain ages. Think about it. Even in your own life, millennials buy their first house at 36. Gen X bought their first house at 36 also. They sold their first house at 45 and they purchased their next upgraded house. Gen Z, not Gen Z, baby boomers, they buy a piece of real estate, they hold it until about 60s, 70s, and then they downsize. And that is the process. It's about every 18 years, we end up with a crossover of two of these generations doing the same thing. If two generations are exiting, you're talking about a mass movement in the wrong direction. That's what causes a depression. If two generations are moving in the same direction, which we have right now, you have the baby boom generation and you have the millennials holding. You have the Gen X holding, you have the baby boom generation holding, and you have the millennials coming into the market. They are of age. They're driving into the market hard. And that's what's causing the market to keep going up against all odds, against interest rates. Type yes in the chat if for the first time you understand the real estate market. If for the first time in your career, you're now like, oh my God, I understand why prices keep going up against all odds. This is something nobody else is talking about because they don't understand it. People don't look at generations. They don't look at segments large enough that make massive impacts. I am addicted to patterns. I see opportunity whenever I see a large enough group of people doing something, and I want to be able to give you that gift. I want to share that with you tonight. This is the 18-year cycle. In what it says is you get a 7-year bump up. And then you get what we call in the stock market or in crypto or just charting in general, you get the M mark here. This stands for murder. Murder means down. It means bad. And then you have right here, what happens is a W, which means win. And so this win lasts for 7 years. This is where they're getting their cycles from. Oh, every 7 years it does something. It does something small every 7 years. And then it does something small every 7 years. So you get this kind of like bump, and they're like, that's a 7-year cycle. But what they're missing is the 4-year drop. And that 4-year drop is what we're looking at. In fact, we're heading very close to it. And if you want to check any of these dates, you can take a screenshot of what I'm sharing right now and you go back and check these dates, or you can go to gualteramarelo.com or alchemiststation.com and you can check for my blog that says 18-year cycle, Gualter's real estate prediction. And you can search that anywhere. I think Alexa is actually going to drop Alchemist Nation at some point, that chat. And that is a digital platform that I own that if I share, actually, let me share my screen. I'll share my screen. I think I have it on my background on my computer here. Stop share. I'll share this one. Basically, Alchemist Nation is a digital software platform that we built so that we could help build millionaires. Again, I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires, aspire to build 100 millionaires. Alchemist Nation has 35 free courses on real estate investing. I literally have my millionaire friends go and build courses for you. Hands Cam, if you know you want to look, oh, not Hands Cam, I'm sorry. Drop in the chat if you want millionaires teach you how to be millionaires. It doesn't make sense to have broke people teaching that stuff, right? You want millionaires teaching you how to become millionaires. Drop yes in the chat if that's what makes sense. Don't ask people who don't have what you want how to get what you want. Ask people who have what you want how to get what you want. And that guaranteed works every single time. So you go on there, everything that I've ever produced or created, I used to sell. I used to be one of those guys who jump on a call like this and be like, hey, buy my program, buy my product, $10,000, I'll hook you up, I'm taking you to masterminds and all that stuff. I don't do that anymore. What I offer now is just literally build the millionaires. I just want to build millionaires. So I put all of my digital courses on Alchemist Nation and I did it for free. I put it under something called Buy Real Estate to Cash Flow and Get Rich. What I'm going to teach you this Saturday is how you can buy real estate to cash flow and get rich. Type yes if you know you're coming Saturday. And anybody I see who types yes, well, you're right. You're very smart because that is the one course, the one class, the workshop that you have to be at in order to unlock everything that this market's about to deliver to you, because there is money coming. There is an abundance of money, an enormous amount of money flowing into the market right now because of all these cycles. I'm going to show you how to, but it's not going to be where you think it is. So I'm going to show you how to do that on Saturday. Next, where are home prices going? It's important to understand where they're going if we look back at where we've been. So this comes straight from the Fed, which is the Federal Reserve Economic Development. It's important to go to places that have actual factual data. You don't grab your stuff from just like Redfin. I did a lot of research and I looked at Zillow and Redfin, and they're super biased. So their data is not accurate. Whereas the federal government is just kind of our, like, I can't say they're our B word, but they're kind of our bitch. I guess I'm saying it. So they work for us, right? We paid them. So they have to give us the data. Otherwise, they don't have a job. So we're looking at, if you look at this, remember that chart I showed you a little while ago? The one with the up curve down thing? This right here, if I'm not mistaken, looks really similar to in between that euphoria point and that excited point. So where are prices going? What does this look like? I mapped out the years, and I didn't map that out this year. I mapped this out in 2019. So just so you know, I've had this prediction running for a while. This isn't like I just decided today, hey, this is what I think is happening. All of the data that I gave you today is relevant to what's happening in the market right now. But this slide, this PowerPoint has been in the universe. Go check my blog. It's been out there for 2 years. Type yes if you know it's important to follow people who can predict stuff before it happens. It makes a lot of sense. Hashtag follow for truth, baby. That's right. Fortunately, there's a lot of other people who've done all this research for me. Like I said, all I do is aggregate it. All I do is put it together in a place where it makes it easier for everybody to see. So we're looking at 2011, 2012. I agree that was the bottom. Everybody else says 2008. They're full of, doo-doo, because in 2008, the stock market crashed, but the real estate market didn't crash until down here. Ask me how I know. Remember, I bought my house in 08 and then I watched it slide all the way down. And then I sold my house in 2012. And I experienced what it's like to totally over renovate a house and sell it for exactly what you bought it for. So a ridiculous situation that I learned. Fortunately, I bought more real estate here. I bought over 100 units over the last, I guess it's been over a decade now of real estate investing. I've bought over 100 units, but I've also sold over 100 units. I bought many of them. I almost never do flips, but sometimes I'll hold something for 2 or 3 years and suddenly there's just so much capital gains on it. By the way, write this math down. If a property has more than 5 years of equity in it, I'm going to sell the property, right? If the cash flow is, let's say, $100,000 a year, but I could make $500,000 just from selling it that day, I'm going to sell it that day. What happens is if you hold that property one more year and the market goes up, let's say 10% like it has been, and it's a $5 million portfolio, it's a $5 million property, that 10% is an extra $500,000 in equity. So where I was making $100,000 previously, and that would have been 5 years, that next year, now it's $100,000 a year. The rents haven't changed that much, but it's gonna, my equity position is $1 million. So that's 10 years it would take me to earn that. Type yes if you understand that the percentages of ownership of real estate can get you into a high equity position that will be higher than the property could cash flow in a short period of time. And if you didn't understand that, it's because I didn't have a chart. I probably should map that out and do a little graph with like stick figures and stuff. Anyway, so 2019, we saw the recession. We saw a little, not a recession. We saw the pandemic, little bump down. This was predicted. I did this chart. This chart was written by somebody else more than 2 years ago, before COVID. So this little bump here was right where we were at. And it happened. It happened, and the experience dropped down. And then we saw, although it didn't really hit in real estate as hard as we thought it would, because the government literally just inflated the market. They just threw money at it. So real estate didn't have the drop it should have had. What it did is it went straight up. It continued, and it got an even more accelerated position. And so we're now in a situation where we're looking at likely 2025. And I know you don't want to hear these numbers, but do the math on the baby boom generation. Do the math on how old they are. Do the math on how long it takes for probate or foreclosure to go through. We're probably not going to see the bottom of this market start until 2025, 2026, and we're probably not going to be at the bottom until somewhere around 2028. So the question I get asked after I show this chart is, well, what do we do? You go back to the 1940s and we see what worked in the 1940s. Type yes if you're having fun so far. Type yes if you're having fun. Drop it in the chat if you're having fun and you're grasping this. And if I've lost anybody, just type in the chat, I am totally lost. And I'll I don't know, we'll say a prayer. Awesome. All right, we're having fun. Very good. We're getting some knowledge. Excellent. Awesome. That is my one goal here, is to make sure that everybody here is a little more informed so you can make really good decisions as you're going out there. I also obviously want to make you recession proof and invite you to come hang out with me Saturday so I can go into deeper detail on how you can prepare yourself for this. Study the 1940s. So 1940s, the reason I chose them is because more things were in line with what we have right now than the 1980s. We're not in a wartime in the 80s. We didn't have hyperinflation in the 80s, but we didn't have the massive tech boom that we have now happening in the 80s. What we did have was World War II. Now, World War II, be careful, like just pay close attention to what I say here. It put nations in fear and caused massive government spending, which led to massive inflation. Just store that nugget. And then new technologies. In the 1940s, some new technologies came in. Computers, these insane things that we use, like our cell phones more powerful than these computers that were released in the 1940s. Nuclear power was released in the 1940s, and jet propulsion. That thing we take for granted, like the fact that I can be in Miami in 45 minutes from Tampa just because I jump in a jet and get there, like that didn't exist. So they had some really like intense technology changing their world. And in the 1940s, a three-bedroom, the average three-bedroom in the country was $3,000. Whoa, $3,000. And then in 1949, that same three-bedroom became $8,000. We're talking insane changes in prices. That's more than 100% increase. So the market just exploded. I know anytime I do this live, and I'm in person, we're having this conversation, everybody's laughing at these prices. That was the price. Like that was real estate. Like 3,000. You got to remember, you did not make $3,000 in a year back in the 1940s. That was a lot of money. It's a very different situation now. So inflation post-war time. So important to recognize we went through war here and here. And the inflation the government spent, see how this little gap is, this kind of year and a half that happens after the government spends their money. The government spends all their money, infuses capital into the market, and then you have a massive inflation spike. And then the government infuses capital into the market. They infuse more, but more doesn't give the same spike because the dollar's losing its value. So even though they're infusing more, we're not getting the same exact, we're not getting the same bump because it's not as useful anymore. Who's noticed when you go to the store, your dollar doesn't get you as much? Anybody notice that? Drop yes in the chat if you've noticed your dollar doesn't go as far. And if you can't notice it in the store, just go to the real estate market. That house that used to be $350,000 is now $750,000. The house used to be $500,000 is now $1.6 million. Inflation is a real thing. Current inflation potential. Let's take a look at this. Pandemic. We didn't have World War III. We had pandemic, and that put nations in fear and caused massive government spending, which led to massive inflation, which we're seeing happen right now. New technologies. We have 5. I mentioned them earlier. 5 new technologies. We have robotics, electric vehicles, battery technology, genomics, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence. I threw electronic vehicles in there because it's kind of the combo of batteries, robotics, and artificial intelligence. Drop in the chat the word Tesla if you're a Tesla holder. So full disclosure, I also hold Tesla. So I'm a little biased, but Elon might be saving the world. Drop Tesla or T in the chat if you hold some Tesla, if you got some of the T in your account. What happened while all this technology was increasing was real estate prices in the last 10 years have gone from the average house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, from $278,000 to $525,000. Type yes if you've seen that happen in your market. If you're seeing that happen in Miami, if you're seeing that happen in Florida, if you're seeing it happen in LA. So here's where my prediction gets a little choppy, gets a little weird. I don't know what's going to happen from 2023 to 2026. I can't tell you with a crystal ball, but I do know what is likely to happen. I know that the math is this: what goes up must come down. I know that this little circle that I've highlighted here looks a lot like this little circle that I've highlighted here. Let me go back. We're catching how similar that looks. Drop yes in the chat if you could see the similarities between these two slides. That little, we'll call it excitephoria curve, right? It's excitephoria right at the top there. It's a little bit of excitement, a little bit of euphoria mixed in. Drop yes in the chat if you're excited about excitephoria. And drop no in the chat if this thing scares the shit out of you and you don't know what to do with excitephoria, because that sounds dangerous, right? Like, what if I can't buy anything at a super steep discount on excitephoria, what do? Hang in there with me. So what you do is you show up on Saturday at 12 p.m. Drop in the chat. What questions do you have? I'm going to show you how to be recession proof in, oh, you still see the screen? We can't see the screen yet because the screen is done. There are no more PowerPoints past this point. We shift over now to a real conversation, kind of a dialogue. I want to answer questions on what I just talked about, because right now it's basically, I've set your mind up with fear. I've set your mind with excitement, with this anticipation that something is coming. But truthfully, you're looking at something about 2 to 3 years away. But in a time where you're going to be able to invest for cash flow in certain markets, you may not find cash flow necessarily as easily in, let's say, the Miami market. But if you go 45 minutes out, 60 minutes out, you're going to find the cash flow becomes a little bit more available. You go up to Gainesville, you go out to places like Ocala, even some parts of Jacksonville, you're going to find cash flows a little bit better. You get out of the state and things start getting really good on the cash flow side, but not so much on the flip side, right? The appreciation in Miami right now is unheard of. It is just absolutely insane opportunity all across really anywhere in Florida. We're seeing, even in Tampa here, we see monstrous amounts of appreciation. The guys who are crushing it in Florida right now are definitely flipping real estate. Wholesalers, I saw some wholesalers in the chat earlier in the call when I was asking. Wholesaling is going to be a great opportunity to not have risk. It will not be very easy to do, though, because more and more competition is going to flood in the market as people who don't even wholesale are going to be on the market, like myself. I market so hard. I hire realtors to market, I hire wholesalers to market, and my team markets very hard. So imagine you got these top investors who have big money to invest. Oh yeah, Cindy, hurricane just means insurance money. Just means the house is going back up. It's going to be bigger, better, brighter, cleaner, nicer. In Florida, we all have insurance. So people who didn't have insurance, well, there will maybe be some opportunities there. It's just those may be, you're going to want to reach out to those people. Here's the other challenge too, or another opportunity with it. Anybody who just got a check for insurance probably is not going to rebuild their house. Not everybody, but there's a lot of people who are just going to take the money and run, and then have a piece of land in Florida that has no house on it and be willing to sell that house. So you will have some opportunities, but there's storm damage. You're going to have a lot of work to be doing there. Let's see. William says, why not 6 to 9 months with a major change in devalued real estate prices? We've seen deals in South Carolina. Yeah, absolutely. There are lots of deals in South Carolina, lots of deals in North Carolina. I love Ohio, Alabama, Kansas. But even Massachusetts, I still do deals in Massachusetts. There's deals here in Florida. I've got buddies who are just crushing it. So it's all about, you've got to figure out your niche, and then you got to decide, am I going to go hard in the marketing? And if you are, how are you getting your stream of income? How are you making sure that you're connected? So I'll tease it out right now, what my strategy is for making somebody recession proof. And that is connecting with the top 100 real estate investors in your market. And I'll show you how to do that on the buy real estate to cash flow and get rich call that we're going to do on Saturday. But in this strategy, think about it. Who has the most real estate? The biggest landlords in your market. Who has the most capital that could invest in your deals? Well, the biggest real estate investors in your market. Who has potential deals that they may want to sell? They have dogs in the portfolio they don't want to own anymore. The biggest landlords in your market. Who knows other investors who are maybe a little smaller or more or are likely to sell? It's, again, the biggest landlords in your market. They got there through, remember, knowledge, network, and mentors. So drop in the chat. What questions do you have? Karina says you want to learn more about wholesaling. Absolutely. Go to Buy Real Estate to Cash Flow and Get Rich. And we'll talk a little bit about how to do that. I also wrote the book, Real Estate Alchemist, Get the Deal, which is the wholesale, for finding, the underground playbook for finding motivated sellers, evaluating real estate properties, and closing more real estate deals in your market. That one right there has all the answers for wholesaling, how to find those properties off market. And you can go to namesondeeds.com, and I have it in there for free also. Create a digital course. I used to, like I said, I used to sell all these things, and now I'm just more focused on building millionaires. So why do I give it away for free? The reason is because most people aren't going to do anything with it. I give it away for free so that somebody will ask me questions, right? Like, I love questions because questions are a sign that you might have the potential to become a millionaire. People who don't ask questions tend to stay broke. The answers are in the minds of other people. I have a friend who's a psychologist. He's a psychologist and he became a wealth coach to teach people how to become wealthy. And he says to me all the time, he says, you can't figure things out. No human being on the planet has an opportunity to figure things out. They already have the answer. They just haven't decided to move on it. They know the answer they're going to go into. They're just delaying the inevitable. The only way you can get new information is through communication with somebody else. That's why Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich, he talked about the mastermind. Drop yes in the chat if you're familiar with what a mastermind is, have ever been a part of one, or you've read Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill's book, and you kind of understand like what the concept of the mastermind is. That is what I suggest people do. I teach you how to have those conversations with the investors, how to grab their contact information, like how to build rapport with them. I call it the Recession-Proof Challenge. We're going to be doing that. Everybody who's got access to it, Alexa will actually send you a link tonight or in a little bit via email. She'll send you access to the Recession-Proof Challenge. Starts tomorrow at 1 p.m. On that challenge, I am there with you, one-on-one. Kidding. No, it's not one-on-one. It's me and you in a group format. And I will be showing you the 30 steps, 30 missions over 30 days to make yourself recession-proof, how to build a perfect network. A network of 100 millionaires who are willing to help you become a millionaire, because like Bigger Pockets, the concept behind it was people just want to pay it forward. My biggest regret in life, or my biggest disappointment in another human being in life, is when people don't ask me how to become successful. I'll tell them I'm a millionaire, like happened to me today. I swear to God, I went tanning because my 100 Millionaire Summit's coming up, right? 100 Millionaire Summits coming up October 21st to 23rd. And I'm going to be on stage for 4 days with people who've paid me a lot of money for my past coaching programs. It's kind of a way for me to fulfill and just be there and support them and get them to the next level, network with my top millionaires who I've built and some of the future millionaires who are on their way. And I want to get a little tan. So I go to the tanning salon this morning. I've never been to the tanning salon. It's Cindy, it's in Orlando, Florida. It's center of the state in a place called the Florida Hotel. Literally, they're ballsy enough to call their hotel the Florida Hotel, which is nice. Here's their points. They got a Taco Bell because the Florida Hotel is connected to a mall. If you've never been, it's like a huge mall connected to the hotel itself, and they have a Taco Bell, which is why I decided to do the event there. You may think I'm kidding, but that is totally true. So the event itself, no, tanning. So I went to tanning this morning, and oh, Bill's been there. Awesome. William, very cool, man. In fact, truth behind why I chose that, it's actually where I learned how to speak. It's actually, so I went to a course called Train the Trainer. And in that room, the trainer said, we need more people teaching people how to build wealth. And if you're a coach that could do that, then you should do that. And in that moment, I handed him $10,000 and said, show me the way. And so best investment in my paying it forward to people. Like I didn't say it here on this call, but the call right before this, I said, you can give somebody $10,000, you give somebody $1 million, that makes one person a millionaire. But if you teach 100 people or 200 people or 300 people how to build wealth for themselves, it's not even about building millionaires. It's about teaching those people how to have financial freedom. And your money, you don't need money to do this. You need the skill to teach. You need the knowledge to teach. You need the ability to communicate and share knowledge in a way that people can understand it. So that was really important. That's my form of charity. All the coaching I spend on myself and all the platforms that I build, that's my way of giving back so that people can get to the next level. People are like, hey, what charity do you invest in? Dude, I'm investing in you right now. this, I swear to God, is what I do to, just be a decent human being. Because the rest of the time in my life, I don't do anything. Like the rest of my life is me just being a rich person saying, I want to go hang out with my friends today. Drop yes in the chat if you know you kind of got to do something to stay active. You can't just live on just the money, right? You got to do something to pay it forward spiritually so that you feel good about all the money you're making. When I invest in like building programs for Alchemist Nation, when I invest in building trainings for the National RIA or doing any of these things, I feel good about spending that money. I feel good about the coach that I'm paying it to, or the tech company I'm paying it to, or even when I'm paying Facebook for Facebook ads to promote, positive thinking and becoming millionaires and motivation and stuff. I feel good about that. So drop yes if maybe you'd be doing something like this once you get your money. I hope you do. So tanning. I decided to go to the tanning salon. Sorry, I jumped around here. And I walk in and I'm wearing this shirt. Right. So I'm thinking she's gonna ask me about it. She's gonna ask me about the shirt. And she doesn't. She says, what are you doing? I was like, yeah, just getting a little darker. And I was like, she said, you haven't been here in a year. It looks like you came in around the same time last year. Well, you got a show coming up? And I was like, yeah, I do got a show coming up. She's like, oh, cool. What is it? I said, oh, I build millionaires, 100 Millionaires Summit. I'm on stage, doing the seminar. I teach people how to become millionaires. She says, okay, cool. Are you shitting me? Okay, cool. Like, dude, I'm telling you, I build millionaires. I'm a millionaire. I'm like, ask me any question and I will answer it. But most people will not ask how to become successful. Most people will not. Like, she didn't ask, how do you do it? She didn't ask, is it in real estate? Do you do in crypto? You do Forex? You do trading? Like, what do you do? She just said, cool. And then she began to talk about all the packages that they offer at the tanning salon. Type sad if you know that most people will never ask how to get wealthy. Type sad if you know most of the people out there in this world will never ask a question on how they could build wealth for themselves. It's true. It's one of the saddest things. My mentor says it all the time. He said, man, like, if you hadn't come in here and asked me how to build wealth, do you think you'd be successful today? And I told him, yes, I would, because I would ask somebody else. But I'm blessed and thankful that you answered all my questions. And what he told me after that was that he's like, you're right. The reason we're successful is because we ask people who have success questions. He said, Gualter, that's what separates me and you from everybody else. We're not afraid to ask questions to people who have the answers. Derek says, just want the cash and not the process to build it. Yeah, Derek, dude, this is a world of like, can I just download the money? Is there an app for that? Do you sell a pill or an app where I can get rich? Because I'd much rather just buy the program that gets me rich. And it's not about a program. Like I said earlier, the three things all the successful people they've consolidated down to is you got to have your network, you got to have your knowledge, and you got to have your accountability or your mentor that guides you through the process. Sounds like she had no interest in the answer. Just wanted to make small talk. Yeah, Carlos, 100%. And she's not an isolated situation. I can walk into Walmart and they might even throw food cans at me if I started saying, hey, I'm a millionaire who wants to ask me questions. Like in Walmart, like the pajama people might actually get mad at me and like cause me bodily harm just because I'm a rich bastard, right? But I started off poor, just like, everybody else. I started off completely broke. I thought making $18,000 a year was a good year. I really did. I really thought I was like crushing it. And then when I got to 40,000 a year, I stayed there for 10 years because I didn't know there was anything better. I grew up in a very depressed city. So like I've been there and I get it. But man, it wasn't until I started asking questions. Asking questions changed the game. So that's my cute little story to say, I'm here for you guys for the next, we'll call it 17 minutes. Drop your questions in the chat. I don't care what they are. You could ask me what I ate for breakfast. You could ask me, what the millionaire process looks like. You could ask me how to make $1 million in a year, but this is your chance. So let's do it. Let's see what you guys got. Good questions.
As they think of questions, guys, don't be shy. Ask your questions on why we're even here tonight. You all want to know how to become recession proof. So go ahead and put those questions in the Q&A box. I see you guys are trickling on in. So go ahead and let us know your questions. In the meantime, Walter, let's talk about a little bit about the 30-day recession-proof challenge. I will send them all the link at the end of the webinar. Like you guys know, I always send a thank you email after every event that we have. So look out for that. But what should they, expect from this 30-day recession-proof challenge? Like more details on that, so they're not going in blind.
I love it when they come in blind because then I get to set the context, right?
That's me.
So I do see a bunch of questions in the chat. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Like I said, as a millionaire, as a multimillionaire, as like a coach, to me, I'm hungry for your questions because I just wish I had the opportunity to ask somebody those questions when I was starting. So thank you for sharing, being vulnerable and asking your questions. It means a lot to me. As far as the challenge, well, I built it in a way that would build millionaires. I've been studying this process for 4 years now, 3 years now, and I've built probably close to 24 millionaires myself. So I've tested it out on over 300 students. And as we're walking through the process, we're figuring it out. So what we did in the challenge is we said, if we know that knowledge, network, and accountability is the key to building wealth, but if I say, go and reach out to 10 people, nobody on this call is going to do that. Like I'm just fully aware of, I've been a coach and a speaker for a long enough time to know that if I say, hey, reach out to these 10 people and have this conversation and I'll connect with you in a month, nothing's going to happen. A month will go by and nothing will happen. So what we did is with the recession-proof challenge, we require that you have to reach out to 10 people every single day. So we jump on a call at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every single day with me and you. We jump on the call and I hold you accountable to reach out to those 10 people. Then I required you to put 4 of those people into your database because I know the other 6 are probably not really cool people that are going to work with you. See, in life, there's 1/3 that will love you no matter what you do. You're going to talk to 10 people, 1/3 will love you no matter what. The second third don't really care about you either way. Like that woman today at the tanning salon. She's like, cool, you build millionaires. Nice. And then there's 1/3 who are going to hate you no matter what. So we want to make sure that we filter out the 1/3 who hate you, the 1/3 who don't care either way. And we want to only add the people who are most likely to do business with you. So these would be the millionaires in your market who are most likely to take you out to lunch. Well, you would take them out to lunch. By the way, drop yes in the chat if you understand. If you take a millionaire out to lunch, you pay for lunch. At least try. Every time I've ever taken a millionaire out or a multimillionaire out for lunch, they don't typically let me pay, because I ask so many questions. I care about their business that they're so cool and they're super nice. And I probably shouldn't have say yes in the chat because I'm losing some of those questions. All right. I love you guys. Thank you.
I'm trying to let everybody know to put those questions. Make sure you're putting all those questions in the Q&A box in the bottom of Zoom, because we're getting a ton of questions now and I don't want to miss any of those. And we are running low on time. So do you want to start diving into the questions, Walter, or do you want me to read them? Or do you want to look through them?
Oh my God, I love you.
Yeah,
read them to me, Alexa. I love this because it feels like I'm on a podcast now. And now it's like me and you, we got some engagement.
We like the podcast style, but you just have a lot of great things to say. And some people are asking, how oh my gosh, there's so many questions. Okay, where do I start? Okay, this one's a little bit general. What is the greatest lesson you've learned? That might maybe just a quick
I love it. So I put that in my first book, Broke to a Quarter Million. So when I went through my divorce, I learned a very important lesson. It's when you think you're listening, stop and listen. And that's not just with your relationship, that's with your business partners, that's with your contractors or plumbers, your motivated sellers. Listen to the people that you're speaking to. It's very important. And if you listen, you can sell them anything. I guarantee you people will sell you their house if you listen to them.
Perfect. Gosh, okay. What's in Idaho that's making it a top migratory state?
Potatoes, man. No, I honestly have no idea. I haven't actually done the research on Idaho itself, on the actual market. I just know that it happens to be one of those. Strong suggestion is do some research if you're interested in Idaho. But if you're not, don't worry about it. If you're not an out-of-state investor, then let somebody else make their money.
Perfect.
Great question.
All righty. Since money and loans are harder to get How can you jump in a market when prices are at the highest?
Oh, I love it, Derek. This is the easiest time to get houses without even going to traditional financing, because now you can actually assume mortgages and you can do seller financing. We've been getting more seller finance deals now because they recognize the value of their mortgages. They're like, hey, yeah, I'll seller finance at 6%. Makes sense to them. They're looking at that high interest and saying, man, that's a lot of money, because they're hearing high interest, high interest, high interest. So to them, 6%, 7%, 8% is like a good return on investment right now. So seller finance, partial seller financing, and subject to are going to be a easy way to buy real estate over the next few years. And even though some lenders are tightening up, not like lending hasn't stopped. We're still buying deals. We're still doing transactions. You just got to have your ducks in a row. So now's the time to line up your ducks.
Perfect. Do you have any specific recession-proof investing strategies? And piggybacking off of that, what asset class is your focus to invest in the next 12 months, regardless of whatever cycle you are heading to?
I love this. Those are great questions. All three of them. Yes, I'm biased on multifamily. I love small multifamilies in that 20 to 40 unit range is easy because of the mom and pop owners that hold them. As far as why it's recession proof, it's because I don't buy high end luxury. I stay in the B minus market, B minus, maybe B markets. I don't mess with D class properties. I'm not a developer, and so I stay away from the stuff that should be torn down. And I have not really messed too much with C class properties, although I don't mind C class neighborhoods. Tertiary markets are my favorite. I won't touch an A class market. I won't touch a B plus market. But if it's a B minus, C plus, those cash flow pretty well, and like it works very well. Another one. This is a strategy that I think is only really keyed in for people who can manage a lot of people. Like if you're not great at managing a lot of people, then stick to multifamily. But if you are okay with managing a decent sized staff, you may want to look into the RALs. Residential assisted living is a lot of cash flow, but it also includes a pretty heavy staff.
Right, right. Alrighty. So did you use hard money lenders when you started?
Oh, David, I used everything. Man, if they said you could buy a house this way, I bought with credit cards, hard money. I bought with private money, business partners. I bought a house with a girlfriend. I bought a house with my mom. I bought a house with subject to existing seller, subject to the existing mortgage from an old lady. I bought houses with seller financing, full seller financing, partial seller financing, like all of it. It's not about having one strategy. It's about having access to all the strategies and then just asking what works for the seller. I don't gun towards any one of them. I just know when my money is tight, I'm probably not going to go and do a 25% down. I'll shift to one of the other strategies that makes more sense.
Awesome. Alrighty. New buys or renos?
Oh, Reno right now. Yeah, definitely stay away
Reno.
from new buy. Yeah, because the first thing to drop in a market is going to be condos, new development, and luxury homes. Those are the first things that get hit in a recession. So you want to be staying away from those. They're like the canary. Don't be living off of canaries if you live in a mine.
Okay, so let's hear it. What was your aha moment?
Oh man, I put that also in broke to a quarter million.
Yeah.
My aha moment was sitting on a bucket in one of my apartments, and after hanging up the phone, my wife, who said she wanted a divorce and that she was serious. And in that moment, I realized I may have been a little selfish in my life and focused a little too hard on making money, and wasn't really paying attention to what she wanted and what my family wanted. And I also realized that I didn't actually want to do the things that they wanted, and I had to change the people I was around. And I started spending less time with my family. I also went through a divorce, and I started focusing on personal development. And I made a commitment on that day, on that bucket, when I was considering taking my own life, that if God would put the right person in front of me to show me how to build wealth, then I swore to him I would teach as many people as I possibly could. And in that moment, I feel I still get like a chill when I think about it. I stood up. I remember walking across the kitchen, looking out the window, and I saw a house that I had under agreement, and I saw another house in the distance. And I knew with such clarity that I would own that house one day. And 3 years later, I did own that house. In fact, I owned the whole block. And it was just a moment in life where I changed everything about myself. I said, you know what? I'm not going to be the selfish person, and I'm not going to be the scared person who does everything that everybody around me wants. Like I'm going to do what I think is the right thing to do in this world, and I'm going to do it unashamedly. And I'm going to be full confidence in being fully like humble that I don't know everything, but I will go out and learn it if the opportunity is there. And I'll seek out the people who have it, like humble, just willing to ask questions. And here I am. It's a powerful moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for being so vulnerable in that moment. I absolutely love that. I already knew that, of course, because I was lucky enough to hear your story and everything when we first met. Super inspiring. And like we keep saying, we keep circling back to Saturday. I hope that you guys are available Saturday. If not, we have some other opportunities coming down the pipeline with the 100 Millionaire Summit. We have the 30-day Recession-Proof Challenge. We have a couple really cool and fun things that I hope really boost you guys in your business. Well, maybe we can fit in like maybe a couple more questions really quick. All righty.
Yeah,
Gosh,
Alexa, I'm a sucker for questions.
these are some deep questions. So if you guys don't mind, we'll just run through these as fast as we can. We want to get you guys in bed. So what do you believe had the biggest contribution to your journey of success? And thank you from one of our people tuning in.
Honestly, it was a man on stage in 2015. His name was Dennis Cummings, and I was at an event called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and it was led by T. Harv, created this book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And I remember Dennis Cummings saying, if you don't have the money you want to have, it's because you don't have the mindset of somebody who has money. And he said, what I am teaching you on stage, you should be teaching other people. And if you aren't somebody who has money, you need to first get money before you can go and teach others. So he said, you got to put the mask on yourself before you can go and put the mask on somebody else. And he said, there's a shortage of people teaching this stuff. There's a shortage in the world of people who have big hearts and willing to get on stages every weekend and go out and do this. And he said, it's a hard work. It's a grind. But he said, if I've had any kind of impact on you today, that I'm going to ask you, if you have it in you, if you have the fortitude to do this, to dig deep and make the commitment to me that one day you'll be on stage doing what I'm doing. And in that moment, I just knew he was talking to me. You know, there was like 300 people in the room, but I felt like I was the one person he was talking to that day.
So cool. So cool. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh gosh. What is your opinion on buying a house at house subject to as a newbie who's never done a deal?
Do it. Yeah, do it. I mean, there's nothing to stop you from buying a house, any one of these strategies. As a newbie, as experienced, all you're doing is going to your attorney and saying, hey, can you do this subject to? Right? Like, it's very, very simple. Or your agent should be able to do this. If your agent doesn't know how to do this, get a new agent. There's so many smart agents right on this call right here who are sophisticated real estate investors, right? In fact, agents in the chat, like if you know how to do a subject to deal contract, or attorneys in the chat, if you know how to do subject to, drop yes in the chat so that our people here can get hooked up, right? It's all about the connections. Viviana says yes, first to respond, right?
Absolutely.
First mover
Absolutely.
advantage, Viviana.
So good. Oh gosh. Thank you guys all for being in here tonight. Oh my goodness. You guys had so many questions. If we missed it, I'm sorry. Got to put those questions in the Q&A or save them for Saturday. Don't want to keep guys too late tonight, but I know if you guys have a ton of questions, try to make yourself available for Saturday. I will be sending everybody an email tonight. So if you have questions, if I can't answer them, I will send them over to Darina. Some of you guys don't know Darina. She was on here. There she is. She's going to be the right-hand woman for Walter, and she's going to make sure that we get all of your questions answered when it comes to the 30-day Recession-Proof Challenge, the 100 Millionaire Summit. I'm going to send you guys all of my special links. Absolutely, you can definitely give them your information, Darina, because I'll do my best to answer you guys' questions, but Darina and Walter, they have it covered. I'm excited to attend the 100 Millionaire Summit. This will be my first time, so very excited for that. And gosh, tonight was just really awesome. Thank you so much, Walter and Dorina. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody for being in here tonight. Insane. A lot of really positive feedback. I loved how interactive everybody was. I appreciate that. We can't see you, but you guys really, I felt your presence, which is awesome. I love that so much. So any closing words from you guys? You guys know you're going to get that email from me. So look out for that. You know it's coming your way right after we tune off of this webinar.
Hell yeah. So let's send some big love to Alexa and Anish for putting this together. They do this every single month. I saw the event, the chart. Most RIAs are not this engaged. What they're doing for you is absolutely amazing, and making it virtual so that more people can tune in. So just send them a lot of positivity, a lot of love. Be blessed, because it is community leaders like this that build millionaires. I've been doing this for a long time, and I couldn't do it without people who are willing to get, people a little uncomfortable out of their house, networking, getting the things started. The live events are for sure one of the biggest components to becoming successful, because of the high fives you can get, the hugs, the handshakes, the eye contact, and the connections. For some reason, I always connect better with somebody in person. It's just something I found. My mentors, like, I've had great mentors that I met via text or phone, but when I met them in person, that's where like stuff just sunk in for me. So definitely continue to connect with each other, continue to be seen, continue to offer opportunities for each other. I just signed up for a mastermind, $25,000 a year, for a mastermind of real estate influencers who have abundance mindset programs. And it's like, you wouldn't believe, like, some of the amazing, like, these are top influencers in the country. And these, like, guys and gals are players, but they all, like, in that mastermind, I asked multiple of them, I was like, hey, what's the best way to get the most out of this? They said, just be a giver. Just come in here and offer things to people, like ask them what they're doing, and see if you can like solve some of their problems. And I'll give you that same advice in this community. If you just find out who has a challenge that you may have already solved, wholesalers, or realtors, or investors, landlords, if you have something that maybe you've already gotten smart at or good at, then share that with somebody else if they want to know. And if they don't want to know, just, congratulate them for being there, shake their hand, like, encourage them, support them. The best thing that you could do for somebody who walks into a RIA for the first time is congratulate them and welcome and let them know they're home. Because I remember my first time in a RIA in person, I was scared. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything about real estate, and I felt embarrassed. And I didn't show back up to another RIA for 6 months. And that's 6 months I could have been further ahead. I could have been financially free. I could have been on this mission 6 months sooner, saving more people. Like, so just think about, it's not much to smile. It's just hey, congratulations. Hey, welcome to the group. Just, be as caring as you possibly can for the people in this community. It really does go a long way, even if they don't ever take the time to tell you. Because I don't remember the first person who, introduced me and encouraged me, but I do know that somebody did that, because I wasn't the type to do that. So thank you, Alexa, for running this, and Dorina, and for everybody that I will see Saturday. I am bringing the heat. I'm bringing everything from names on deeds. I'm going to talk about how to invest with private capital, how to do deals that other people don't have access to. I'm going to show you what deals make sense right now in this market, and what markets I do like, and where that money is. And I just dropped in the chat, alchemiststation.com. You can go there and you can message me or Dorina or Alexa. We're all on Alchemist Nation, and you can ask questions. You can access the free courses. But remember, don't get carried away with all the information I've put out there. Information alone creates analysis paralysis. Connect with the network, right? Connect with the people on this chat and in the Facebook group. There's a lot of opportunity here. And if you haven't already had a call with the mentors, and I do not make anything from saying this, but I am telling you, have a call with a mentor. And even if you don't get anything out of it, now you know. But I guarantee you sit with a mentor and you have a conversation with them, you're going to get something out of it. Even if it's just a small little piece of direction, or just a little bit of encouragement that you're doing the right thing, that's worth the phone call. So cheers to success. We have a choice.
Thank you guys. We will see you on camera. Mic's on Saturday, October 8th, noon. I'll be there. I hope I see you guys there. It's on Zoom. You can be comfortable at home. Like I'm wearing pants, but I mean, Saturday, I won't know, guys. So I hope I get to see you guys on Saturday. You guys know we have webinars every week. We'll see you then next week, but Saturday, you guys have to take advantage of these workshops and trainings that we offer. It's just not every day that you get to spend this one-on-one time with experts of this caliber. I always try to remind everybody. So thank you guys again for staying this late. We appreciate you staying on a little bit more. Thank you guys. It's so cute. Oh man, I love your, oh my gosh, what a cutie. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Look out for the follow-up email from me. Thank you guys again for staying on a little bit extra tonight. And thank you, Walter and Dorina. So excited. We'll see you guys again on Saturday.
See you
Good
then,
night,
Alexa.
everybody.
Cheers.
Bye.